Where did your cannabis experience start, and how has it impacted your life?
So my cannabis experience, I started smoking in kind of like high school. Didn't know what it was or what I was getting myself into. I just realized it was something that just calmed me down, made me a smoother person. Trust me, my mom doesn't know this, but we avoided a lot more fights after I smoked. So like after I smoked, we did not argue as much. It's just like one of those things that I ended up doing all the time. Went to college, continued it. Then after college, DC's market opened up. So I just kind of dove into there. I was like, I have to see what's happening here. Met a lot of cool people, went to a lot of cool events. Then that's kind of when I wanted to start the puff and paint and try to tie myself into the industry. And then I should mention the whole time I was working a sales job. So daytime, I was like a sales employee. I sold software. And after that, I would go back to DC and then sell weed. So that was kind of like my tie. I got tired of working that job. I worked it for 2 years and I was like, this is tough, you know? So as soon as I quit, I noticed that there was cannabis jobs opening up in Maryland. So I was like, okay, let me apply to every single job that is on this list, any position, and try to see what I can do. And then I got my foot in the door. And this is how my mom kind of ties into it again. After I started working in the industry, I worked in a dispensary. She honestly started smelling my scent. And she's like, I remember this, you know? And I'm just like, no, you don't. Just stop. She's like, you kept telling me it was this perfume or something. I was like, ah. And then I had to sit down and actually talk to her about cannabis and what I'm actually doing. I just told her I was going in for sales. I didn't say for what. So with that, it became a cool journey with her because now she's a patient and she consumes. So like, I'm happy for her and it helps her out in different ways. It's just been one of those things that I found on my own, went into. I'm the only one in my family who's interested in this stuff. And now my family is interested in my stuff. They're over here like, tell me more about this, like, because they're very skeptical. So it's very cool to have these conversations all the time. I probably talk about weed every single day now. So it's just a part of who I am now.
So tell us a little bit about yourself as well as the LoudVybz spray.
So, hey, my name is Abaynesh. You can call me Abby. I run LoudVybz, which is a puff and paint business, and we do other 420 elevated events. So a little bit about me. I'm basically a Towson graduate, got into cannabis as soon as it kind of came to Maryland. And then through that, I started venturing into my own thing. I love to paint. I'm a creative. So I just try to find ways to tie my love for creativity and my love for cannabis into one. So that's kind of how LoudVybz came into place, like that middle ground, puff and paint.
So with puff and paint revolving around a lot of live art, a lot of demonstrations, a lot of workshops, how did you yourself get your start as an artist?
So I was, as far as like my art history, I started after I graduated college. I didn't really take any art classes. I just always had that little talent where I knew how to draw and create stuff from like my mind. So then one day I went to a sip and paint. And first of all, I do not want to sip and paint ever again because I realized I'm not a sipper, I'm a smoker. So that ties into another story. But I went to that class, didn't hear what that instructor was even saying or teaching. I ended up painting something totally different from the class, and I thought it was honestly the best thing out of everyone's painting. No offense if they see this. But from that, I just bought my supplies, started YouTubing stuff. I painted a lot after work, and then I just realized, like, this is something I want to do, and I love creating it. So that's what started my art career. And then through that, I started taking classes, and now I teach classes. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1 situation. I really found out my passion for art late, but I'm happy because I ended up following it through all the way. Now I'm looking to just learn more about it.
Can you talk about any hurdles that you face with developing this brand and this platform?
Yeah, so I guess my biggest hurdle is because I host 420 events, there's not a lot of options for that yet, especially in like the DMV region with the laws and how everything's been situated. So like either between how to market my events and send it out, I have to follow a lot of guidelines, which is hard for me to advertise my event if I have to be so strict. And then finding these venues, I've been fortunate enough to find a lot of venues, but finding these venues is hard sometimes, like explaining how as a cannabis user, like it's something like we need to do. Like we need to smoke in the same space that we create. So it's like finding that environment where it's safe for everyone to do that has been a challenge. So I would say those are the two things. Like getting the word out is really hard, and then just finding consistent places to host the event that will be comfortable for my patients and for anyone who comes, you know?
So how do you feel that the events have been received by the cannabis community? What's been the feedback, the types of things that you've heard about the events that you put on?
Yeah, I've heard all good things so far. I started pushing these events a little bit harder the past 2 years. And through that, I've been seeing people talk about the event, not knowing that I host these events, and I see these positive energy, like, that sounds so cool, having a space to smoke and chill and do stuff. And I'm like, I'm just happy that anyone is enjoying the idea, because honestly, this is something that I love. So just seeing other people want to do it is great. And I know people who are cannabis users have a lot going on, so it's sometimes hard to come out to the event. So I'm trying to make sure that I can host more events, so then there's more opportunities for you guys to come out and relax. So I'm happy with the feedback. Any dispensary I go now, sometimes I get called the puff and paint girl. That's new. I like that. So it's just nice to hear like good feedback about these events, and I'm happy that I can do it and maybe expand into new things.
Like, where do you see LoudVybz going, not only for this year, but like any multi-year plans that you have? What do you have in mind, like, when you think about LoudVybz as a platform?
For sure. So LoudVybz, like what I envision it being is just overall just 420 events planned. I'm in the works of trying to make bigger events. I've done infused dinners, I've done yogas, puff and paints, but now I'm thinking like, what are bigger ways to engage these people? Because there's things that we need that we can't do all the time, like festivals. Like I would love it, like it's a smoke-friendly festival. So that's something I like to expand into. I really want to expand on these events, either getting my own place to do it or finding like promoting other businesses. Like I would love to promote other businesses that allow it to just expand this growth. Like this should be known everywhere.
For sure.
Yeah, so it's like finding these safe places and being able to tell people like, hey, this is a good place if you want to come here when I'm not hosting an event, you know, smoke. So it's just like connecting everything for everyone to see kind of situation.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about the piece that you're working on now, what the inspiration for it was? And
yeah. So, I forgot the politician's name, but someone was running for state senate, and I was invited to paint for his fundraiser, and it was pretty cool because they told me a story that he brought the American flag, and he's very pro like cannabis consumption, and he wants this to be like a normalized thing. So they wanted me to just paint something inspired by him. So what I took from that is just like empowering people of color to consume, because this is like a right that we should all have, you know? We shouldn't be shamed about it or anything. So I made the J the American flag, and then this is not even close to done, but I'm definitely going to add some more to it. Some smoke, some fire on the flag, some more stars and stuff like that. So that's kind of where it came from.
check out this amazing piece created using a pour technique Abby uses to amazing effect.